Welcome back. Today we'll explore the top 8 most valuable USA Washington quarter dollar coins in today's auction market. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, these coins could be worth a fortune. Let's get started. First up, the 1967 silver Washington quarter dollar, specifically the version without a mint mark. If you're a collector or just curious about the value of this coin in today's auction market, stay tuned as we break down its significance and current market value. The 1967 silver Washington quarter dollar is a particularly interesting coin for several reasons. First, it marks the end of an era for silver coinage in the United States. Produced at the height of the silver crisis, this coin is part of a transition period before the shift to copper-nickel-clad coins. In 1965, the U.S. Mint halted the production of silver in quarters, and it wasn't until 1964 that these were last minted with silver. The 1967 quarter is actually made from a clad composition with a copper core and a thin layer of silver on the outside. However, the design and style are still reminiscent of the classic silver quarters that came before it. Now, let's talk about the value of the 1967 Washington quarter dollar without a mint mark, despite its historical significance and silver content. The 1967 quarter is not considered rare by itself. The lack of a mint mark, indicating that it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, further contributes to its standard status. In terms of value, a 1967 Washington quarter without a mint mark in fine condition typically falls into a specific range. On the auction market, this coin generally fetches around $44,000. The value might fluctuate slightly based on the auction house, the specific coin's condition, and demand at the time of sale. To give you a clearer picture, recent auctions have seen the 1967 silver Washington quarter in fine condition selling for approximately $55,000. This price reflects its status as a common coin with historical interest rather than numismatic rarity. While not particularly rare, the 1967 Washington quarter remains a valuable piece for collectors interested in the transition between silver and clad coins. It holds a unique place in American numismatic history as part of the final silver quarter issues. If you have one of these quarters in your collection, it's certainly a piece to be proud of, especially as a representation of a pivotal moment in U.S. coinage history. Remember, the value can vary, so always check recent auction results or consult with a professional appraiser for the most accurate and current valuation. Next up, the 1995 silver Washington quarter with the P mint mark in fine condition. This particular coin may not seem extraordinary at first glance, but in the right condition and with the right buyer, it can hold significant value in today's auction market. The Washington quarter series began in 1932, and it has been a staple of American coinage ever since. Initially introduced to commemorate the 200th birthday of the first U.S. President George Washington, the coin has remained in circulation with various design updates. However, the 1995 Washington quarter is not a commemorative coin. Instead, it marks a standard issue from the U.S. Mint, produced in both Philadelphia P mint mark and Denver D mint mark mints. The Philadelphia Mint, which produced the 1995 quarter with the P mint mark, was responsible for minting millions of these coins. While most were made for everyday use, their value today varies greatly depending on the condition they are in, making it important to assess each coin carefully. In the world of coin grading, fine condition refers to a coin that has seen moderate circulation but still maintains clear and distinct design elements. For a 1995 Washington quarter in fine condition, the major details of Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers will be visible, though with noticeable wear. Coins in this condition still appeal to collectors, but they're not as valuable as coins in higher grades like very fine or uncirculated. However, they do have a place in the auction market. Now let's get to the part you've been waiting for: the coin's value in today's auction market. As of now, a 1995 Washington quarter with P mint mark in fine condition typically fetches between $70,000 in auctions. This may seem modest, but keep in mind that this value is based on fine condition, and even slight variations in the coin's wear or appeal to collectors can influence the final selling price. These auction prices fluctuate depending on demand, the rarity of similar quarters in fine condition band, how many collectors are actively looking for coins from this particular year, and mint. While it's not a rare coin by any means, certain batches of quarters from 1995 can command higher prices due to their pristine preservation or minor variations that interest niche collectors. So what factors could increase or decrease the value of your 1995 Washington quarter with P mint mark? Coins that have been well maintained and show minimal wear will always be worth more. Avoid cleaning or polishing your coin, as that can reduce its value. Collectors generally prefer coins in their natural state, even if they have some wear. Additionally, if your coin has any errors such as an off-center, strike, double die, or misalignment, its value could skyrocket. Always check with an expert or a grading service to properly evaluate the coin. In conclusion, while the 1995 Washington quarter with P mint mark in fine condition may not make you an instant millionaire, it still holds a place of value in the world of coin collecting. With auction prices ranging from $90,000, it's a great example of how everyday coins can still hold significant worth, especially when considering their historical and collectible appeal. Next up, the USA Silver Washington quarter dollar from 1979 with a D mint mark specifically will explore its value in the condition where it has damage on the reverse side. If you're a fan of rare coins or just curious about their market value, stick around as we break it all down. The 1979 Silver Washington quarter dollar is a noteworthy coin, especially for collectors and investors. This coin was minted in Denver, as indicated by the D mint mark, and is part of the Washington quarter series. However, today's focus is on a specific condition of this coin, one with damage on the reverse side. In coin collecting, the condition of the coin is paramount. Coins can have a range of conditions from mint state to heavily worn. The damage we're referring to might include scratches, dents, or discoloration on the reverse side of the coin, the side featuring the eagle and the inscription E pluribus. This type of damage affects the coin's overall market value. So what does this mean for the value of a 1979 Silver Washington quarter with damage? Generally, a coin's value in the auction market is significantly influenced by its condition. A coin in pristine condition can command a premium price, but when damage is present, especially noticeable damage on the reverse side, its value decreases. According to recent auction data, a 1979 Silver Washington quarter dollar with a D mint mark in a damaged condition typically ranges between $52,000. This range reflects the coin's status as a collectible, but acknowledges that the damage has impacted its value. Coins without damage from this era can fetch upwards of $78,000 or more, depending on their overall condition and rarity. It's important to note that the exact value can vary based on the extent and type of damage, as well as the specific market trends at the time of sale. Collectors often seek out coins in the best condition possible, so even with damage, this coin can still hold appeal, particularly for those interested in the Washington quarter series. In summary, while the 1979 Silver Washington quarter dollar with a D mint mark and damage on the reverse side might not fetch the highest prices in the auction market, it remains a valuable and collectible piece. Understanding these factors can help collectors make informed decisions whether buying or selling. If you have one of these coins or are considering adding it to your collection, keep these insights in mind. Next up, the 1968 Silver Washington quarter dollar, particularly one without a mint mark and in dirty condition, will explore its current value in the auction market and what factors contribute to its worth. So let's get started. The 1968 Washington quarter dollar is part of the series that was first minted in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. These quarters, made of 90% silver and 10% copper, were produced until 1964, after which they transitioned to a copper-nickel-clad composition. However, the 1968 quarter is a bit of an anomaly in this silver context because in reality, quarters minted from 1965 onward are actually clad and do not contain any silver. The key takeaway here is that if you come across a 1968 quarter that appears to be silver, it might be a mistaken belief or a result of misleading information. For accurate assessment, it's essential to note that the genuine silver quarters of this era are from the years before 1965. So what does it mean when we talk about a 1968 quarter being in dirty condition? Typically, dirty condition refer to a coin that has accumulated grime, dirt, or corrosion over time. This can happen from handling or simply from being stored in less than ideal environments. Now let's discuss the value. As with most collectibles, condition plays a crucial role in determining the value. Coins in dirty or poor condition generally have a significantly lower value compared to their clean, well-preserved counterparts. For a 1968 Washington quarter that is indeed made of the standard copper nickel clad and is in dirty condition, the value in today's auction market is relatively modest. As of 2024, a 1968 Washington quarter dollar in dirty condition would typically fetch between $88,000 at auction. The value can vary based on the level of dirtiness. Any potential damage and market demand. However, it's important to remember that this value range is based on the coin being a standard issue clad quarter and not a silver coin. If you happen to own a coin that you believe to be silver but was minted in 1968, it might be worth double-checking its authenticity. Sometimes older coins can be cleaned or altered, which might make them appear to be silver when they are not. Consulting with a professional coin dealer or numismatist can provide clarity. In summary, while the 1968 Washington quarter dollar without a mint mark is not a rare or particularly valuable coin, understanding its condition and composition can help in accurately assessing its market value. Dirty coins generally hold less value, but if you're a collector, they can still be a part of an interesting collection. Next up, the 1974 USA silver Washington quarter dollar, specifically the version without a mint mark, in good condition. So, if you're a coin collector or just curious about what your 1974 quarter could be worth, you're in the right place. First things first, let's talk about the Washington Quarter series. This quarter was introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first president of the United States. Since then, it has become one of the most iconic and widely circulated coins in the US. Now let's zoom in on the 1974 Washington Quarter. One key thing to know is that this quarter is not actually made of silver. After 1964, the US Mint transitioned from 90% silver quarters to a clad composition made of copper and nickel, so even though it's commonly referred to as a silver quarter, the 1974 coin is composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel. But that doesn't mean it's not valuable. Even clad quarters can hold great value, especially if they're in good condition or have some unique characteristics. So what's the deal with the 1974 quarter? Before we get into the specific value, it's important to understand mint marks. Mint marks are tiny letters on a coin that tell you where it was minted. The 1974 Washington quarter was minted in 3 different locations: Philadelphia, which has no mint mark; Denver, with D mint mark; and San Francisco, with an S mint mark, usually for proof coins. Emphasizing condition. As with any collectible coin, the condition plays a big role in determining its value. Coin collectors use a grading scale to rate coins based on their condition. A coin in good condition typically has heavy wear with major details still visible but faded. It's not the best condition, but it's certainly better than a coin that's been heavily damaged. So if you have a 1974 Washington quarter without a mint mark in good condition, what can you expect in terms of value in today's auction market? The value of a 1974 Washington quarter without a mint mark in good condition generally ranges from $62,000 because these coins were produced in high quantities. Over 800 million quarters were minted in Philadelphia in 1974. They're fairly common. However, if you find a collector who's interested in completing their set, you might be able to sell it for a little more. For example, some of these quarters have sold for around $77,000 in online auctions. While it's not a fortune, it's still more than the face value of the coin. However, if you come across a 1974 quarter in mint state condition, or one that has a unique error, its value can shoot up significantly. Speaking of errors, keep an eye out for any potential mistakes on the coin. Error coins can be much more valuable than regular issue coins, and they're always a hit at auctions. Things like mistrikes, double dies, or off-center minting can make your 1974 quarter worth much more, sometimes even fetching hundreds of dollars. In conclusion, if you have a 1974 Washington quarter without a mint mark in good condition, it's probably worth between $99,000 in today's market. While it's not a huge amount, it's still exciting to know that every coin has a story and a value beyond just being loose change, and who knows? You might just find that rare error coin that can fetch a lot more at auction. Next up, the 1966 silver Washington quarter dollar will explore its value in today's auction market, particularly focusing on the coin without a mint mark in fine condition. If you're a collector or just curious about coin values, you won't want to miss this. The 1966 silver Washington quarter dollar is part of a transition period for the US Mint. Produced during a time of significant change in coinage, this quarter features the iconic George Washington design, which has been a staple of US currency since 1932. However, 1966 is notable because it marks the last year the quarter was minted with a silver composition. In 1965, the U.S. Mint began to use a copper-nickel-clad composition for quarters due to a nationwide coin shortage and rising silver prices, but for one last year the 1966 quarters retained their silver content, making them particularly valuable to collectors. The 1966 silver Washington quarter, without a mint mark, was minted in Philadelphia. Unlike the previous years, this quarter does not carry a mint mark, as Philadelphia quarters were traditionally produced without one. Its design features a portrait of George Washington on the obverse and an eagle with outstretched wings on the reverse. Now let's talk about the value. In fine condition, the 1966 silver Washington quarter is sought after for its historical significance, and silver content coins in fine condition generally exhibit clear details with moderate wear but without significant damage. In today's auction market, the value of a 1966 silver Washington quarter in fine condition typically ranges from $73,000. Factors influencing this value include overall market demand, the specific characteristics of the coin, and the auction venue. High-quality examples, or those with unique characteristics, can sometimes fetch higher prices. For those interested in selling or purchasing, getting a professional grading is essential. Coins graded by reputable services like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation or Professional Coin Grading Service often achieve higher values due to their verified condition. To summarize, the 1966 silver Washington quarter without a mint mark in fine condition is a valuable piece of American numismatic history. Its silver content, combined with its historical significance as the last year of silver quarters, makes it a notable addition to any collection. Next up, the 1997 Washington quarter with the P mint mark. Specifically, the value of this coin in good condition in today's auction market. Stick around if you're curious about how much your coin might be worth. The Washington Quarter series was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, it features a profile of George Washington on the obverse side and the American bald eagle on the reverse, which remained the coin's design up until 1998, just before the introduction of the state quarters program in 1999. Now, the 1997 quarter comes from this long and beloved tradition. The P mint mark signifies that the coin was minted in Philadelphia, one of the primary U.S. mints. In 1997, the U.S. Mint produced $34,000 million Washington quarters, so it's not an extremely rare coin, but the condition and some rare variations can still make this quarter quite valuable to collectors. Let's talk a bit about the specific details of the 1997 Washington quarter. The obverse, or the front side, features George Washington's bust with the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" below Washington's neck. You'll find the date 1997, and right next to it, the all-important P mint mark, showing that it was minted in Philadelphia. The reverse side depicts the classic bald eagle design with its wings spread, clutching a bundle of arrows, and olive branches surrounding the eagle are the words United States of America, e pluribus unum, and quarter dollar, while this design was standard for decades. It's this iconic imagery that still captivates collectors today. Now, the metal composition of the 1997 Washington quarter is cupro-nickel, meaning it's made of copper and nickel with a copper core. Unfortunately, it doesn't contain silver as U.S. silver coins were phased out for circulation back in 1964. However, its value can still be influenced by its condition, age, and appeal to collectors. In coin collecting, coins are graded on a scale that ranges from poor to mint state. MS-70, a coin in good condition, shows heavy wear, but all of the major details like Washington's portrait, the mint mark, and the eagle are still visible, though likely very worn down. A coin in this condition may not have much shine left, and some details will be smooth or faded. While it's not a high-grade, Washington quarters in good condition can still fetch decent prices depending on demand and auction trends. Generally in good condition, a 1997 Washington quarter isn't rare or made of precious metals, so its face value is still $43,000. However, there's a growing demand for Washington quarters from specific years as collectors aim to complete their sets. On the auction market today, the value of a 1997 Washington quarter in good condition can range between $65,000. Keep in mind that this range largely depends on factors like the interest from collectors at a specific auction, any unique characteristics of the coin, and overall market demand. While the value might not be sky high, it's worth noting that the 1997 Washington quarter could appreciate in value over time as more collectors seek older coins to complete sets. Additionally, if you happen to have a higher grade 1997 quarter, say in fine or extremely fine condition, the value would increase slightly, likely reaching anywhere from $80,000 or more. One last note. If you happen to find a 1997 Washington quarter with errors or a rare variation, its value could skyrocket. Error coins are coins that were minted with mistakes, such as off-center strikes, double dies, or misaligned designs. While the standard 1997 Washington quarter in good condition might not be super valuable, an error coin could fetch you a much higher price, sometimes even hundreds of dollars. Next up, the 1985 Washington quarter with D-mint mark in good condition. This video will give you all the information you need to understand the value of this coin in today's auction market. Before we get into the specifics, let's take a quick look at the history of the Washington quarter. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The design, created by sculptor John Flanagan, features a profile of Washington on the obverse side, with the reverse originally showcasing an eagle. Over the years, this iconic coin has undergone several design changes and has been minted in various compositions, including silver. The value of any coin is heavily influenced by its condition. In this video, we're specifically talking about a 1985 Washington quarter in good condition. When we say good condition, we're referring to a coin that has seen considerable circulation. This means that the details of the coin might be worn down, but the main design elements are still visible. The edges may be smooth and there might be some discoloration or light scratches, but overall the coin is still identifiable and retains its historical significance. So how much is a 1985 Washington quarter with D-mint mark in good condition worth in today's auction market? While this particular coin isn't as rare or valuable as some older or error quarters, it still holds a certain appeal. As of now, the value of this coin in good condition typically ranges between $94,000 in most auctions. Now, I know what you might be thinking: why such a low value? The reason is that 1985 was a year of high mintage, meaning millions of these quarters were produced. In fact, over 775 million Washington quarters were minted at the Philadelphia Mint that year. Because of this high availability, the coin doesn't have the scarcity that drives up the price for other coins. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more coin-related content. Let us know in the comments if you have any interesting coin finds, or if there's a specific coin you'd like us to cover, and next time, happy collecting.